Good morning to all of my friends out there across the world. It's Wednesday, it's hump day, April 12th. And you also know what day it is. It is CPI day. So if you're out there trading in the world of Forex, be careful because we got CPI at 8:30 in the morning, which is about an hour and a half away. Gonna be a doozy. They're expecting a pretty deep decline in inflation, actually. It's actually pretty impressive how much they're expecting it to come down. So, could be interesting. We'll see what we get. 9 o'clock in the morning, we have Pound Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking. 10 a.m., we have the Canadian bank rates. 11 a.m. we have Canadian Bank of Canada press conference. 2 p.m. we have FOMC meeting minutes. 3:15 p.m. we have Governor Bailey speaking again. And then your trading agent session, you have Australian dollar unemployment rate and employment change. So we have a plethora of news events today. Although that's if you're trading the Canadian dollar and whatever else that is. So all I really care about is going to be CPI in the meeting minutes at 2 p.m. All right. Actually had a really good trade last night on pound yen. It's around a 3-to-1. Call this out last night in the Zoom, or I guess in the video for Asian session. Talked about it. We had these descending highs wedging into this 166 major level. I was looking for a support to be found here at this against this 166. Stops below the low, looking for that push back up towards 166.4, and you got it. So nice strong move on pound yen overnight. That was really the best move in gold. I wanted to go long so bad, but it didn't give me what I wanted. I'd prefer to see one last sweep of lows before we ran. Didn't get it, and it just shot out like a cannon. So yeah, those were the plays last night. Let's move on into the analysis. And yeah. Let's remove drawings here. Start fresh. So we are looking still pretty bearish. We've had the dollar respecting this 50 moving average the whole way up. Broke through, retested, and now we're respecting it on the way down. We're still below it. However, it's just kind of a trailing thing to to look at. I mean, it's just basically creating higher lows. And now what we're doing is we're still sitting here at support of 101.5. Still in this range, creating lower highs. So until we decide to break now this most recent high that was made at 102.7, we are bearish until we break through this high. We break through them, so we have most recent swing high at 102.8, we'll say, and then we have most recent swing low at 101.460. So anywhere in between this is just going to be, I guess, market movement within this descending channel here. So we have these highs, we have these we have these highs and lows in this channel. What happened? We just retested this high, and so now we're on our way back down to retest this low potentially. So within current price action in the day, 102, 150, and 102 on the dot. The two areas you want to keep an eye on to see who's in control for the day. Buyers or sellers. And we'll play against these levels. Taking a look at equities. And do remember today's CPI and Fed meeting minutes. So do we get much movement in front of that? Well, actually, I don't even trade equities until 9 o'clock anyway. So CPI have come out already. Let me fix this and fix this. I was adjusting my color scheme last night, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to bleed people's eyes in the morning or hurt people's eyes in the morning. So let's change it up to some black. And my trend lines were black, so that's why I'm really starting over here. But yeah, so let's take a look at price action, see if we can get any indication on what's going on here. So we are now pushing up into this trend line here. Not quite there yet, but we are approaching. We're sitting on top of this bullish structure. So I'd expect some buys, at least into this trend line here. So, I mean, I'm not taking anything on US30 in front of CPI, so I don't care really what happens. I'm definitely going to have to reanalyze after CPI anyway. However, just to point it out, you're in this descending channel here, so keep an eye on this 34,000 area, 33,800. Look for some potential rejection. If we do break through that, then you're going to want to keep an eye on this consolidated high here, 34,200 area to 34,400. We did break through this most recent high, now finding support there. So we're in bullish structure at the moment. Yeah, so still haven't created a higher low. Just kind of marching up here. But I'm going to reanalyze again when it comes to closer to CPI, or I guess after CPI. So if you guys are looking to follow that analysis, come trade with us on Zoom. Taking a look at gold here. Yeah, let's get rid of some of this. All right, so gold daily chart is looking bullish. We have support sitting right on top of this breakout at 1981-ish. Last couple of days came back to retest this breakout of the flag. Closed bullish against here, finding support. Current daily candle pushed higher to retest this prior 2022 resistance. Is now pulling back. So we don't know yet whether this is going to be a rejection and we start pushing back down to support, or if this is just a pullback to then continue back up and we push bullish during New York session. Looking at the 4-hour chart, these highs, potential area to find some support. You had this resistance area. You have this resistance area. So now we're coming down into that similar area where we should potentially find support. We've had this rejection wick here. This whole zone, this 2004, 2003 on the 4-hour. Let's take a look at the 1-hour. Gold came up into this rejection zone. Rejected off of 2020. We're now pulling back. If we draw the fibs, so we'll be drawing from here now because this is where structure was formed. We're now sitting at the 50% retracement from most recent higher low. Completely retrace this move from overnight. We draw all over. We are sitting right on top of this move, this breakout. So looking for some potential longs with gold. I wouldn't consider shorts unless we broke through 2000 and started creating bearish structure again. So as long as we're above this structure here, we're going to look for some longs. Am I going to take this in front of CPI? Nah, probably not. However, we are kind of forming some interesting structure here as we're approaching this breakout zone. You're seeing price start to slow down and potentially consolidate here before we break and continue higher. So this is definitely an area of interest for some buys. This zone right in here is where I'd like to grab some buys for gold. I'm definitely going to have to be patient on this one, though, because we have CPI in an hour and 20 minutes. Could be interesting here. So if we do break through, this high, and we can get something like that, could be interesting, right? We broke through this high, retested here, creating a higher low, starting to change structure, and then we can continue higher. So I'll look for a shift in market structure in this area here. So I'm going to maybe watch the 5-minute here as we have been creating this descending trend line. Break through, retest, and then rally. This is something I'll look for as we're already finding some rejection and support in this zone that I'm looking for. So I'm be watching gold for longs. If CPI comes in and just destroys gold, well, as we start breaking through these lows of 2003, and we break through the trend line here, then I might consider shorts on like a retest if CPI does give us that move. But that's unlikely. All right, cool. So this is gold. Let's take a look at oil. Oil still consolidating at these highs here after this gap up from the OPEC news. Nice bullish engulfing yesterday. Current daily hasn't really gone anywhere. Rejecting this 81.80 area, prior area of rejection here. 1 hour. So we're sitting right on top of this resistance slash support. So if we come back through this, let's say 81.25, 81.30, it could be some potential shorts off of a retest, because now at this point we're going to be back in this range here, and we have very clean price action from yesterday to fill. So as we broke through this area of support and resistance, if we come back below, buyers weren't able to hold, sellers are back in play, and we start pushing lower. So this is what I'll look for. I'm not looking for buys because we're already sitting here at resistance. So I'd consider these sells on oil, and that's it. Moving on to pound yen. So let's go to the daily chart. Let's get rid of some of this bullshit. Yeah. So pound yen is now, if we look at where we're rejecting and bring that over, rejection today, or I guess overnight, rejection from April 4th, rejection here where we had a lot of selling volume come into play back on December 20th. So this is a heavy zone. We're also now back below 166, which you can see right here has been a major area of contention. So 4-hour chart, clearly been pushing extremely bullish, but we're starting to shift with some sellers coming into the market. So if you see this 166, we had found support there, ran through highs, bearish pushback below. Again, we found some support again during London session. London during London Open, and now we're shifting back through that 166. So if we can get a retest of 166, I like sells. I mean, I'm not going to take longs in front of this massive rejection area from the last couple of weeks. Rejection. So I'm going to look for sells in this area here. If you take a look, we have potential coming back down into this area of support / rejection. So if I can get a lower time frames retest, something like this for a pushback down to 165.4, it's about a 60 pip move. That could be ideal. Or if you want to try to catch that 165 retest, which it never did. So typically when you get those, break of whole numbers or levels of these psychological levels. You get that retest and then run like you did here. You get that retest of 166 and run. Now we got that retest, so we could come back down to retest 165 potentially, like you've seen it over here. Broke through, then came back down to retest eventually, and then ran. Not saying it's going to happen, but something to keep in mind. You know, we'll see how much momentum we get in the market this morning. But this is what I'll be looking at for pound yen shorts as we opened up, broke through the highs, rolling over through the open, and so now I want to see a retest of the open / red to green line, and then we see the sell off. So that's pound yen's looking pretty nice. I will consider taking the trade before CPI. The thing is though, if CPI comes, like it's coming up, you know, 5 minutes from now, and I'm not, you know, the trade hasn't moved much, and I'm not in the green with a nice cushion, then I'm just going to exit the trade and then reanalyze trading after CPI, because I don't want to be in any trades during CPI. That's not really the way to do it. Yeah, so that's pound yen. Pound USD. So we had this resistance here sitting at 1.24372 area, broke through, came back below, found some resistance. So if you go down into more current analysis here, after we broke through this support, got rejection, rejection, rejection. So looking pretty weak here on pound USD. Lower high rejection here, broke through this neckline. So I like the sells on pound USD. The problem is it's very choppy, not very clean. I mean, you only really have a retest of this zone before you potentially sell off. I wouldn't really like it anywhere else because we've already had breakdown, retest, breakdown, retest, breakdown, retest, consolidation, retest of VWAP, breakdown. Now we get the retest here. There's really no point to come back in this zone, this range here. So I'd like to see potential sells against this retest point. But doesn't seem like there's much clean volume. It seems pretty choppy. And plus, pound USD's open was here. Change that to like a color we can see. There. The pound USD's open was here. We already had that break and retest of the red to green, and we got that pushed down. So kind of late on this play. Where pound yen is, let me set my alert, where pound yen's still playing through that same play. So we'll keep an eye on pound yen. Pound USD, probably going to put it on the back burner. Pound AUD stuck in this range here. But if we can break through this support that we're now sitting at, which is 1.85893, this zone, then we could potentially look for some sells off of a retest like that, back down into 1.85300 right here. As far as longs against the support, it's kind of a choppy range, not too interested personally. But yeah, that's about it. Not going to really go through much more. I mean, I'm not trading any of these pairs. And honestly, they'll all get, I mean, they'll be somewhere else by the time CPI comes anyway. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go trade off Zoom with my guys. If you guys want to come trade live with us, I'm doing my challenge. Obviously, I'm posting the recaps on YouTube. So come check out vanttradingforex.com. And yeah, we're here every day. So thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Happy CPI. Don't blow your account. Be safe. And I will see you tomorrow.